up? It's your girl Bondi Blue, and I am back for another Southern Charm New Orleans, baby. Okay, before we get into a commercial break for the people, don't forget about my affiliation program with Sidbird. Sidbird, you smell good, bitch. All right, don't forget about it. Also, don't forget about Omaji natural hair care products and newly added body butters. Okay, to get you all moisturized and smelling good. All right, so yes. You guys check all of those things out in my description box along with my email for MFN advice. I will be having another live this Thursday, 8 p.m. on YouTube. So you guys come back and make sure that we see each other, okay? And hit me up with any of your emails or MFN advice questions. So, now that I've got all of that out the way, let's get into Southern Charm because bitch, it wasn't a lot. The beginning of the episode starts off where the last one left off. Y'all know they at the Myrtle Plantation. Justin was scared, had a ghost on his back. He was drunk, took a nap. Okay, they brought him downstairs, have a good time. He decided to go to a hotel once Kelsey got there, Oscar ass. Okay, everybody's waking up the next morning missing socks and shit. All right, we go to brunch. And during brunch, a weird conversation took place. Okay. Because Tamika asked Justin how he was feeling. She wanted him to be sure that whatever was going on with him wasn't a real health issue. Because Tamika's daddy died when she was like 5 or 6 years old. And she said that was like the last thing he said, oh, I'm okay, I'm fine. And then he had a heart attack at 35 and he's dead. So she just wants Justin to check himself out and make sure he's okay. And she's getting emotional while she's talking about her father. And Barry's like, can you please pass that sauce, please? Thank you. She's like, oh my God. Like, oh my God, I'm having a moment here and you're asking about fucking sauce. Like, what's happening right now? She felt like it was rude and insensitive to the moment. Barry feels like there were multiple conversations going on at one time. I feel like she was sitting right next to you, Barry. You just blocked her out. You have started to block her out when you feel like she's going on and on and on and on, making something about her. Then you just kind of shut down and stop listening to her. That's what I feel like was going on. So they kind of had this back and forth where Barry was like, yeah, because you're never rude. And we all know that Tamika very much so can be rude sometimes. All right. So it just shows a crack in their marriage. Like, that's what this whole little scene was giving me. A crack in the foundation of Tamika and Barry's marriage. Tamika's brother was there and he decided that he would give his 2 cents about how he feels like she can sometimes be insecure, and you know we don't like that word, insecure, because she never got attention from her father because he died so early in her life. So she's always seeking attention from people. And I just kind of felt like, okay, you could definitely say that, but at the same time, this moment wasn't that. And if I was her, I'd have been mad at my brother too. I'd have been like, so, yeah, you're not going to be on my side at all, huh? Just going to throw me out there to the wolves. All right. I'm normally in this situation. Like, whenever I'm the person at the table that's saying something that's true or something like that, I always got to have people, oh, Brittany, you was doing too much. Yeah, you might not have, shouldn't have said it that way and all of this bullshit. Fuck out of here. I'm going to be myself. And if you don't like it, kiss my ass. I'm tired of this shit. All these years coaxing, trying to baby voice the fuck out of people for what? For what? Life don't baby voice your ass. What I gotta do it for? So I'm always seeing things about Tamika that I see about myself when it comes to how like we deal with people and how we'll just say anything to people, and not anything, but we will say what we perceive as the truth in the moment, and then people get upset with us and we be like, well, bitch, it's the truth. Just saying. What you want me to do? Okay? What you want me to do? So they basically shut Tamika down so that we can ask Barry how he feels about his wife. Is your wife insecure, Barry? And I'm like, tread lightly, nigga. Tread lightly. You got to go home with the bitch. Like you better answer this accordingly. And he says that he doesn't think that she's insecure, but he feels as if because she has all of these different groups of friends and projects and things that she's working on, he feels as if her priorities are fucked up. Now, I feel like what he was talking about had nothing to do with what they were talking about. They were talking about this specific situation at the table, and Barry is giving y'all a sum up of his issue with their whole relationship, which is, what is the time for Barry? Bitch, come home so you can have dinner with Barry. Okay, like that's what Barry is with, is at with it. And it was very telling. So you guys, they decided to go on a little shopping trip into the small town. Little cute boutique. They got, fresh made lemonade and just all kind of little cute shit. I love this type of stuff. So they go in and the lady's telling them the ghost stories about the shop that she works in, bloggity, 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 blah. But the main thing is that Tamika and Reagan have a conversation about whatever was going on with Barry. Because Reagan is like, man, what was going on with you and Barry? That shit kind of seemed, weird. One minute y'all are all lovey-dovey and happy, and the next minute y'all beefing. It's kind of bipolar. And I just was like, Reagan, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm sorry, but is Reagan really your friend, Tamika? Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth, Tamika. Is Reagan really your friend? I'm just asking, okay? Because even though I do feel like she does have that I will tell you the truth friend type situation, I also feel like in most situations, she is not an ally on this show, except for when y'all ran up on y'all dudes, which really didn't have anything to do with you as much as it had to do with her being upset about finding her own man in a room full of women and painting naked bitches and such. Okay, I just wonder sometimes, damn, like it don't seem like Reagan ever really has Tamika's back in any way. Not to say that Reagan is wrong in this moment, because I do feel like Tamika has to check herself when it comes to her dealings with her husband. Do not sit and look. I only been married 1 year, but I've been with this man for 8 years, and I feel like I've been the wife the whole time, okay? I became the wife, but I've been this type of person and been this type of woman in a relationship the whole time. So I feel like I can say this, okay? And what I'm going to say is you have to pay attention to how your personality, being high strung, can sometimes have a negative effect on your relationship. Sometimes you gotta be like, babe, I'm tripping, I'm sorry. I will do what I have to do. I will make more time. I'm sorry. Like sometimes you have to do that. You have to be the person that has to step back, look at theyself, check they shit, and then come back softer than you did before. Okay? It's something I had to learn, but it's something that you have to do when you're a woman in a relationship and you have a strong personality. And even though your man might know he has to play back to you a lot of the times, sometimes they don't want to. Sometimes they want shit the way they want it, and you have to be able to give and take in a marriage and in a relationship. Okay, now with that being said, the way Reagan was reading the shit out of Tamika, I was like, bitch, it's so funny. Once again, because I was talking about this in Real Housewives of Potomac, you can read everybody else's book verse by verse, but you can't give me a fucking beginning of a sentence in a chapter from your own book, okay? Like, I'm just saying. And Reagan is saying in the confessionals that, oh, my marriage isn't all that great right now either. And you know why? Because you have the same issues that she has, except for you walking away and leaving your husband and she's still staying in the house with him, okay? I'm just saying. So I didn't like her tone. I didn't like the way it came off, especially considering she has her own issues in her marriage. And I'm sorry, but I didn't see her say that to Tamika during the scene. I just saw her say that during the confession. All right? But I was a little bored with this episode, so I could have been going in and out. Over there on the green, all the men are playing golf. All right, we're having a good time playing golf, and John, the consummate athlete, can't play no fucking golf. I thought that was hilarious, and those little ass shorts, okay? Those shorts were fucking little. Jeff and Barry have a conversation where Jeff is trying to do the same thing Reagan was doing, be a sounding board, but I think Jeff came off so much different. He came off like, look, man, I know what you're going through. I know how this is, but maybe you guys should go to counseling. Maybe you guys should really talk about this, because while I've been going to therapy and counseling, I've realized that it really helps when you have a high-strung type A woman to really get her to listen to you, because sometimes they're going on and they're not listening, they're not paying attention, and then you stop listening and nobody's listening to one another, and you cannot have no communication in a relationship if you plan on making it work, okay? And I just felt like Jeff's approach was so much better than Reagan's approach was with Tamika. It's very telling about their two personalities and how he really is the butter in the situation. And she needs to take her ass back to Covington before somebody else put that butter on some bread and eat it up. So for some reason, Justin and Barry decided to go jewelry shopping. And I'm going to tell you why I was aggravated with this scene. Because Justin, we've been talking about marriage. We've been talking about the fact that you like, what, almost 40 something years old, but you out here, or almost, you probably are 40 or in your 40s or whatever. And you out here dating this woman, living with her for the past year, I guess, and you don't know if you want to marry her yet. So you go to a fucking jewelry store and buy her a necklace? Like, what was that about? Like, I mean, I know he was doing it as a gesture to show appreciation, but the ultimate appreciation for a woman that you supposedly are in love with is marriage, nigga. Especially when you this old, all right? The jewelry lady was like, come on now, we not children, we not teenagers, we know what we want in life at this point, which was my point. It's like, what are you doing? What's happening here? Okay, and I know that's the storyline that y'all presenting to us, that Justin is walking around trying to make this woman act as a wife while not actually giving her that position by marrying her, which makes us look at him like, what is you scared for? What you scared for, Justin? Let us know. You got a job, you got a house, you got the support of your family, and you have a woman that stays by your side and has been smiling and happy to cope with all of these ridiculous ass issues on this show this whole time. So let us know. Is it for real or is it for play, Justin? Is it for real or is it for play? Because the necklace was for play. As far as I'm concerned, that shit looked for play. So somebody let me know what the situation is with Kelsey and Justin if you know them. Tamika and her daughter had like a little mom and daughter luncheon thing that they went to and hosted. And they're coming home and the little girl is upset. She's crying. She's upset. She's like, you know, in that, I hate you, mommy kind of stage right now, right? So we like, what's going on with the baby? Barry is obviously the more nurturing of the two parents. And this became clear in this scene, even though I totally understood Tamika, but I could just see Barry as being the one that the kids want to talk to a little bit more, because Tamika is like, no, I'm not having it, and that's that, okay? When they got out the car and the little girl slammed the door, and she was like, come back over here and close that door the right way. I was like, boy, that ain't never happened. Boy, you know how many times? Look, no, I didn't used to slam doors because my daddy would just come over and hit me for slamming the fucking door. So I ain't slammed no door, but you saw the look on my face. Look, my life, Jesus. This whole scene, you guys, it tickled me, but it made me sad in a way. And it just tickled me because this little girl was so upset because she didn't win a raffle and decided to cry. It kind of embarrassed Tamika at this event that she was hosting by acting like a spoiled little brat. Okay, so when Tamika was like, why is it that you felt the need to cry when all the other little girls was just fine with not winning? It was like 300 girls, only 12 was going to win a raffle, and you over here crying. What the fuck? All right, suck it up, little girl, because I'm not raising children, I'm raising adults, okay? So get it together. That was basically how Tamika talked to her little girl. And in all honesty, I wasn't upset with her about that. When she said, I don't baby my children, it's a fine line between being honest, being blunt, being real with your children, which is probably how I will be. But at the same time, being able to understand that you're not dealing with an adult, you're dealing with a child and you're her mother. So while she feels upset, instead of reprimanding her for being upset, maybe you should have took her outside and said, look, it's just a raffle. It's not that big of a deal. Let somebody else win. It's okay. It's all right. Okay, we'll go get some ice cream when we leave here on the way home or something like that. You know, it just could have been handled in a way that made her daughter feel a little bit better about the situation. But because Tamika was embarrassed and felt like, I ain't got time for you with this shit because you're just being a brat, she takes it on home and lets Barry deal with the situation. And while Barry is trying to talk to his daughter, she comes back in to interrupt and explain what happened. And Barry's like, I'm trying to get her side of it. And here you come with this shit, okay? And the little girl was basically saying she felt that her mom made it worse. She's always embarrassing her. And I feel like because of the way Tamika is as a person, it's hard for her adult friends to deal with, but it's also even harder for her daughter to deal with. Barry brought up something about their daughter that every time they go to an event, she's upset. Every time they go to a party, she comes home upset. And maybe she might be having some social issues, but whatever it is, Barry wants Tamika to step back from being annoyed and actually take a look at her daughter. Step back from all of the events that you're working on. Step back from all of these fake fucking friendships that you have. All right. And Tamika explains, she works at the news station. Then she gets off from the news station. And then, I have to go to a luncheon here or an event here. And it can be tiring. And you don't get home till 10 o'clock at night. And all Barry wants to do is have a sit down dinner with his family every once in a while. And you telling him that you don't have time for that shit. Your schedule doesn't allow it. You know what he's trying to say? Make the fucking time. Make the time. Because at the end of the day, you will have jobs and all of that. But which is more important, your family or this career? It doesn't mean that you have to give one up. But it does mean that you need to curb how you do things. Take less events. Okay? Agree to less hostings. All right? Less little lunch, brunch dinners. Okay? Instead of going sit down with these girls so that you could, be a social butterfly and network and all of that shit. Be like, I'm going to take it on home. I'll talk to y'all later. Maybe just have time where you have maybe a day or 2, 3 out the week where you spend time at home with your daughters and with your husband. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of feeling like you can't do it because you have too many obligations. Your family is your biggest obligation, Tamika, and you know that. All right. And then it was too funny with me because his mama don't like her. So his mama in the house cooking red beans and shit. Like, I know she ain't gonna cook. That's why I'm over here. And honestly, I'm looking at Tamika with a side eye because I look at a side eye at any woman that grows up in New Orleans and don't know how to cook a pot of beans. Like, for real. I'm telling y'all right now. I'm looking at any woman from New Orleans that don't know how to cook a pot of beans like, nah, bitch. Okay? Like, I feel like it's the fundamentals. Like, it's the fundamentals. How do you not know to get you some Creole seasoning, a bag of beans, okay? Any type of meat that you choose, usually some turkey necks or some pickle rib tips, all right? You ball of pickle rib tips. You put the Creole seasoning in the water. First of all, you soak your beans overnight if you're really trying to be good at this shit. You soak your beans overnight. All right, you get you some sausage, you cut up your sausage, you put your beans in that water with that seasoning, let that shit soak up a little bit, you know what I'm saying, on a medium heat, all right, or a low heat if you're trying to slow cook this shit all day. You put your sausage in there after you done boil them pickle rib tips, and you put them pickle rib tips in there, and you put that pot on a slow simmer, you let that shit sit for hours, all right? You let that shit sit for hours, coming back occasionally to stir, okay, salt and pepper to taste, but if you add the right amount of pork to these beans, you don't really need to salt it all that much. Okay, add a little paprika and some Tabasco sauce, and hot damn, you got you some red beans and rice. So for her not to know how to cook red beans and rice, I'm just looking at her like, girl, there are some things you need to work on, sis. There are some things you need to work on, sis. I know you thought that it wasn't, a big deal to know how to do some of these things. But I think when it comes to passing down certain traditions to your kids and spending time with your kids and your husband, the food and the cooking, a lot of the time is where that happens. And even though you think you don't have time for it, you need to fucking make time for it, okay? Because just like Reagan's husband, Jeff, Barry will get stole on, okay? Nice looking, well-spoken, educated, fine as fuck. Girl, you could be out here sleeping and acting like you got too much going on and take care of your man and your family, but you'll fuck around and lose that man to some girl who will be cooking and popping coochie on a regular, okay? You better listen to me, I'm trying to tell you. You better listen to me, I'm trying to tell you. Because here's the thing. Men know what they're getting into, all right? So, yeah, he already knew that you wasn't like a cook, all right? But if you ain't cooking, you ain't fucking, and you ain't really trying to find out what's going on with your daughter, and he just see you letting all fronts at home fall to the wayside so you could be out here being a personality, that's an issue. So y'all gonna have to work on that. But that's all I got to say about it. So please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. And I will see y'all tonight for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta and Basketball Wives. I hope you'll be back. I love you. Share the video to your people and holla at me.